Here we are. So we're on day 10. Are you ready to see today's project? Here you go. You gotta know it's a pretty gift box for a mini hand sanitizer. It's very bright, very festive, that beautiful poinsettia flower when you open it up. Let's see if I can do this carefully. Right inside is the mini hand sanitizer. This one happens to be Winter Citrus Wreath, but I have another one that could coordinate with it because the colors are so pretty. Look at that. Ho, ho, ho. Hand sanitizer. 'Tis this season. These are so awesome to gift to friends, anyone that you come in contact with. So my version of Monica's box fits this hand sanitizer. She made a gift box for chocolates and trinkets and pretty much anything that you want to fit in. This one has been custom designed for the mini hand sanitizer, and I'm going to share with you how I made it. You know me, if I can do it, you can do it, because the skill level is pretty basic, not advanced at all. I'm going to put that there and share with you. So you might not recognize either the paper or that little stamp. And so let's see if anybody can guess. Monica had her viewers guess, what paper did this sheet come from? Because it's not in the Christmas catalog. Let's see if I can focus in on that paper. Any guesses? Let's see if who's here who's commenting. What paper do you think this came from? All right. So that beautiful paper with the poinsettias came from the Flowers for All Season 6x6 stack. There's a pretty poinsettia pattern in it. Yay, Sandy guessed. You're absolutely right, Sandy. Flowers for All Seasons. Very pretty poinsettia with the Poppy Parade coloring and the Just Jade coloring. Now, what about that stamp set? Hello, Monica. Where did the stamp set come from? Because you might not recognize that tiny poinsettia as well. Let's see if Sandy knows. So the paper came from Flowers of All Season. The stamp set, it's one you might have skipped past. It is the 4-season floral photopolymer stamp set. It's a set of 7. And you might not recognize it. Yes, Sandy, you're absolutely right. It comes from the beginner brochure. So I'm always bringing this out. There are some nice stamp sets in here, a couple of them that are not in the main catalog. This 4-season floral is in the beginner catalog. You turn a couple pages and bam, there it is. It's a nice little set. It's only, let's see, the stamp set is only $14. Wow, what a steal. And it's got pretty little flowers, pretty posies for the different seasons, a nice little for you sentiment, thank you, and a happy birthday. So there you go. So places you might not have looked for your holiday projects: the main catalog, the Flower for All Seasons paper, and the beginner brochure. So let me share with you how I'm going to make this. It's easy peasy. So I'm using Just Jade cardstock, and I put down my cheat sheet right over here. Don't know if you can see on my mat. So the Just Jade measures 3.5 inches by 11 inches. I'm going to be scoring it. I have a second piece that measures 3 7/16 by 4 7/16. So the 16th is just 1/16 less than the half-inch mark. That's going to give us that little bit of breathing room, just like when you're creating a box with a lid. You have that 1/16 rule to help you out with the fit. So I'm using the Just Jade. I've got, of course, my Flower for All Seasons, the poinsettia pattern, and I am going to be trimming this down. I only need 2¼ inches of it. And of course it goes by 6 inches. So I'm going to be trimming that down as well when I bring out my paper trimmer. I need a 2-inch Poppy Parade circle, and I just punched that. The easiest thing for me to work with are the punches. No need to bring out the pads and the cut and emboss. It's ready to go. I could have used a smaller punch circle, but I like that stitching. This is from the Stitched Shapes die set. This is the one that measures just under 2 inches. So that I need that as well. I'm going to need a scrap of Whisper White for my sentiment. And just to share with you, my Stitch Shape framelit dies, they are a staple in the craft room. You need them for so many different projects, so you want to have those on hand. I'll share with you the inks and the blends that I'm using as I go along. I'm also using my trio punch, detail punch as well. So okay, let's start with the base of the box so we can eliminate some of these pieces. I'm going to start with my 3.5 by 11 inch paper, and I'm going to use my stamping trimmer, but I'm only going to be scoring right now. I'm going to go ahead and extend the blade, extend the arm. And guys, after today, I have only 2 more days of Christmas, and I have a couple of doozy projects coming up for you still. So thank you for sticking with me this entire time. I hope you've liked my projects. All right, so I'm going to be on the long side, the 11-inch side. I am going to do my first score at 3.5. That's how tall the box is going to be. Then I'm going to move up to 5 inches. So this now forms the base of the box. And then I'm going to go up to 8.5 inches. So really easy, 3 scores, 3.5, 5, 8.5. I'm going to pull that out, and I'm going to bring in the other piece of Just Jade, which is going to form my box to hold the mini hand sanitizer bottle. I'm going to be scoring at 1 inch on all sides. So remember, this one measures just 1/16 less than the 3.5 and 1/16 less than the 4.5. That means it's going to fit a little bit nicer. So I'm going to come up and score at 1 inch on all sides. This is going to form the box to kind of cradle the little bottle. 1 inch, and then 1 inch, and then 1 inch. So all sides 1 inch. And that's all the scoring I'm going to do for now. I'm going to go ahead and build my box. And I like to do on the horizontal, I'm going to snip those little tabs up to the perpendicular tab line. You know what, before I do that, I'm going to use my bone folder and go ahead and burnish these folds so they're nice and crisp. And I think in the past couple months, I have shown you various versions of a mini hand sanitizer gift box. So that's what I'm saying. This year's gift has to be hand sanitizer. We can't have enough of it, right? And I know when we first started into this whole pandemic, these hand sanitizer bottles were hard to come by. And now they're a lot more plentiful. You have more choices. Lots of different scents. So what I've done, I've snipped on the vertical line up to the horizontal line. Now I'm going to go through and I'm going to snip or debulk the little tabs. So just a little sliver, kind of like a dart. And you know, the one thing I wish I had yesterday when I ran into this person at the BX buying all the hand sanitizer bottles, I wished I had a sample right there and then to show her, because these are so special. The little bottles themselves are really sweet, but you just kick it up when you put them in a pretty little box. And it really doesn't take a long time nor a lot of resources to create the little box. So here we go. I've just snipped the tabs here on all sides. I'm going to come in with my favorite adhesive, and I do have my tear and tape. I brought a new spool out, but you know me, I really love my liquid glue. To me, it's just the easiest. It's the most forgiving, and the only little trouble I have with it once in a while is when that little tip gets clogged, but it's no big deal. I have my tack ready to unplug that little clog that forms at the tip. And it's really easy. So forgiving too, because with the other adhesives, once you secure, it's really hard to adjust. This one's really forgiving. So I'm going to hold that in kind of press in so that I can get a nice stickiness on it. And I'm going to do the other tabs. So sweet. I love this color scheme too. It's really festive. A little spin on the red and green. This Just Jade is a really pretty green, as is the Poppy Parade, nice and bright, much brighter than real red. Okay, so there's my little box. That's what's gonna hold the mini hand sanitizer bottle, just like that. So you're gonna see it fits nicely in there. Now I'm gonna come back in and I'm going to score my wrap where I'm gonna burnish my wrap where I scored already, just folding down, burnishing, making a nice clean, crisp fold. And one more thing I'm gonna do, this is gonna wrap up like this. So what I'd like to do is, why does that look the wrong size? What have I done? What did I do here? 3.5. Yikes, did I steer you wrong? Let's see, what size is my box supposed to be? Yikes or rikes, and not 3.5, 2.5. Really easy to fix here. And I noticed I had it wrong on my notes, so, well, this is just how my crafting goes, so you guys just follow along with me. This is an easy fix. Just snip it down to 2.5. And for my team who's getting my PDFs, I will have this corrected for you on the PDF. There we go, so that's better. 2.5, so much better. Yikes. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I am going to round the flap using my Trio detail punch. There's that little corner rounder there. And just gonna bring that in and punch down, flip it over and do on the other side as well. I'm gonna keep that nearby because I'm gonna do the pattern paper as well in just a second. What I'm gonna do right now is stick this in. That way it has time to dry. I'm just gonna put some adhesive on the base all the way around. And you know, one thing I'm gonna say is you wanna make sure if you come in the middle of the class, skip over to the YouTube channel. As soon as this video's done, I usually download and I post it on my YouTube channel. And the nice thing with YouTube, I'm not gonna lie, I watch a lot of how-tos, and a lot of times I love that double speed button because I just don't have time. Who has time to watch a video on regular speed? So you can do a double speed. You're gonna get a much more concise direction. So just skip over to the YouTube video. All right, so I'm gonna set this aside. I want that to go ahead and dry up. And I'm gonna bring in my paper trimmer once again and snip this down. My DSP needs to be cut. Like, hopefully I've got these measurements right. 2 1/4 by 6, and we are gonna trim it down. So 2 1/4. And then I need a strip that is 3 1/4. So just gonna bring it up to 3 1/4. And then I need one more that is 2 1/4. So you can actually get 2 boxes from one sheet of the 6x6 DSP. What I'm gonna do on this one as well, because this is going to go on the base, I'm gonna round those corners as well. So this trio punch is coming in really handy. There we go. And now I'm ready to adhere these to my base. And I am going to use my Seal Plus, make it really quick and easy. Just on the back, and this goes right here on the front. And I'm going to have about 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. So there's the front of my box. And then I'm going to adhere this one to the top of the box. And again, with the Stampin' Seal Plus, you guys know I get along much better with the Plus than with the regular. Going to adhere this down, and again, I'm going to have about 1/8 of an inch border all the way around. And here we go. There is the basic box formation. Now, of course, we're going to have a closure, so we're going to have a nice pretty decoration on the front. The hand sanitizer goes right inside. I'm going to push that aside and go ahead and start up with the focal point art. I'm going to bring in my 2 circles, and I'm going to stamp and color with the blends. And I've picked up my color scheme already. I'm using Just Jade. Let's see, the dark, the light. I'm using the light Poppy Parade and the dark Poppy Parade, as well as the dark Mango Melody and the, let's see, this is the light Soft Suede. Those are my blends I'm going to be coloring with. I am going to stamp the flower from the 4-season floral stamp set, the Poinsettia, and because it's a photopolymer stamp, I'm going to bring in my let's see, what is this called? This is for the Stamparatus, and what I like about it, it's kind of like the piercing mat, not as thick. It has the grid right on it. I just happen to have it handy, and I am stamping in basic gray. This is a little bit less stark than the basic black or the Memento pad. And I'm going to come right in and just stamp down. I need a little bit of cush because it's photopolymer. There we go, nice impression. There's my poinsettia. I'm going to color it. And the nice thing with the blends is you don't just color in one single color. You're going to have some darker areas, some lighter areas using the 2 tones. I'm going to start off by coloring the poinsettia, and I'm going to bring in the dark Poppy Parade and color in the shadowy areas first. So it's fairly easy to color. I'm going to let the image be my guide, come in and outline the darker areas, and then just kind of follow along the lines. This probably is the most detailed part of the project. I don't want to goof, so I'm not going to go too fast. And just coming in. So the important thing is with the blends, you want to use more than one color usually. That's the whole purpose of the blends, is you can have those highlights and those shadows. And you can mix colors. They don't always have to be the same color that you're blending with. You can create your own colors. So just again, bringing in the shadowy areas, usually where there's an overlap, that there would be some shadow there. And then right down the vines of the leaves. There we go. So I've got my dark Poppy Parade. Now I'm going to come in with my light Poppy Parade. And here we go. And today's gift you're going to see is an embellishment that I'm using on this little project. So hand sanitizers, I have a nice stash of them. So I have used them for lots of gifts. I'm continuing to use them. They're just like a regular stock item on my shelf these days. And this part of the blending goes really easily. I just want to warn you, tomorrow, which is Saturday, I will not be coming live at noon. Tomorrow's my team meeting, and we meet at 11 o'clock. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to you for a Saturday night date. So in the evening at 7 o'clock. Hello, Dixie. Thank you for joining. I am making a gift box for a mini hand sanitizer, so pretty, using the Flowers for All Seasons paper and the 4-season floral stamp set in the beginner brochure. Right now I'm just coloring in the pretty poinsettias. There we go. There's my poinsettia. I am going to color in these little balls, in the dark Poppy Parade. And I'm using the bullet tip, the pen tip. There we go. Now I'm going to bring in my Just Jade and color my leaves. And I'm going to do the same as well. I'm going to do the shadowy areas, the darker areas, outline in the dark Just Jade, the vein areas. Just bringing that in. Oh, I see a little ball I've neglected to color with my Poppy Parade. There we go. I'm going to bring in my light Just Jade. So when you order your Stampin' Blends, you want to open them up and check them right away. Dixie says, yes, she already has the supplies for this. Thank you. Isn't that nice when you have what you need on hand already? So many times I go to create a project and I realize, oh, there's one item I don't have. And usually it's something that I didn't put on my order because I thought to myself, I'm trying to cut back. I probably don't need that. And don't you know you need it in the end? There we go. So I'm going to bring back in my Poppy Parade and do that one little last Poppy Parade ball. And one more thing, I'm going to bring in, there's some little pine detailing, pine needles. I'm going to bring in my light soft suede, do a little bit of coloring here, add a little bit of color. And one last little detail, I have my dark mango melody. I'm going to come in and do the center of the poinsettia. I'm going to use the bullet tip, just color in those little flower centers. All right, so almost done. I am next going to stamp my sentiment that says for you, and I'm going to bring in my, let's see, for this I want it to pop a little bit more, so I'm going to use my shaded spruce. I just need the tiniest scrap of Whisper White for the sentiment. This teeny tiny stamp that says for you, and I still need that cush. Wondering where I tossed my where did I put my mat? There it is. You know, when I watch other stampers, I realize I'm not the only one who loses things that are right at the fingertips. There's just too much stuff on my stamping desk. So here we go. I'm just going to do a quick for you. Perfect. And that is so teeny tiny, but I'm still going to use my mini trimmer. I know lots of you have this because you joined during celebration last year, and it's been very useful. For a while, demonstrators could buy extra, but of course those sold out quickly. Now, having talked about what demonstrators can get, I want to warn you, it is still the perfect time to join as a demonstrator. I can tell you there is an upcoming sale that begins next week, and demonstrators will get the sale price. We get the demonstrator discount. We can collect our host rewards. We can earn our half off items. We can earn celebration items right now. So there is a multitude of reasons that you would want to sign up as a demonstrator to reap all those perks. I can tell you when you join my team, you get extra perks, one of them being like the meeting that we have tomorrow where we always do a make and take. It's sort of like a class. My team gets rewarded for achieving certain sales targets, for just attending meetings. We have challenges. So it's perfect time to join as a demonstrator. It's a perfect time to join as a stamp arista, which is my team. So you see I have that teeny tiny for you. So let's get ready to assemble. We're nearly done with our hand sanitizer gift box. So I'm going to place this right on there, layer, so I have a little bit of Poppy Parade peeking out from behind this stitched circle. And it's just enough to add a little pop of color. There we go. And I'm going to add this to the box, but let's see, let's bring this in. So here's what I like to do. I like to close up the box. This is going to be the closure for it. So what I do, I bring in my dimensionals, and I'm going to put 2 on this box, and I abut them right to the bottom of the flap, that tab that's going to be the closure. So you can see I'm putting the flat edge right up to that closure. Now I'm just going to go ahead and adhere the pretty little poinsettia, putting it right there and trying to make it straight. It's not always easy when you're on video. Things go wrong as measurements go wrong. So, okay, so I'm almost done. I'm going to put a pretty little ribbon here, not a big bow, just a splash of color. And I am using my Just Jade. This is the 2022 in color ribbon. It's a nice texture, a really nice width. Let's see, it's about a 1/4 inch thick, and I just need a tiny snippet. I'm going to use probably about, oh, I don't know, 5 inches. I'm going to snip it off. And I'm not going to tie it in a bow. Instead, I'm going to add a little bit of gold around it. So let's see. I'm trying to think what's the easiest way, because when you're doing this on your own, it's almost like you need a second pair of hands, because I want this held down. Let's see if my stamp will hold it in position and bring you up in here. I'm going to put a pretty little gold bow around it, and I'm using the gold twine that comes in the ribbon combo. I think this is the one for the Forever Fern suite, and I'm going to use probably about, I don't know, 8 inches of it. And this time I'm actually going to snip it in advance, because it's kind of hard to manipulate around that other ribbon. What I like to do with this one, it frays at the end, so as soon as I cut it, I knot it at one end. That way it's held together when I go to reuse it. And the same on the other one. Even though I'm going to snip it down probably, I still want to be able to work with it. So now I have about an 8-inch piece. I'm going to bring this in, and I'm going to tie a little bow around the Just Jade ribbon. And this is what I mean, where it's nice to have a second pair of hands. I'm going to knot this up so it's easier to manage. Pull that through. There we go. All right, so now I'm ready to tie a pretty little bow. Now I can let it loose there and just tie a bow around it. There we go. This is going to go right onto my focal point for my box. And I'm going to use a glue dot to keep this secure. My glue dots are at my fingertips. Here we go. Put that right in there. It's going to go right on underneath the poinsettia right here. And I'm going to tuck my little For You sentiment right next to it. I want that popped up, so I am going to use a mini Stampin' Dimensional. Hopefully I have one handy here at my work table. And I don't. Oh, yes, I do, right here. Okay, so I just need the tiniest little bit. I don't even think I need a whole mini dimensional. I'm going to get a sliver. Do you do this too? See all of this dimension right along the border here? I use that. I go in and I snip tiny little narrow pieces, just what I need for this little sentiment. So I just trim that off. Going to put that right onto the back of my sentiment. The tiniest little sliver. This is so sweet. Here we go. Right in there. I'm going to do a little snipping. Trim down the tails on the Just Jade. And you know, I'm using my ribbon scissors. I know they're ribbon scissors because I have a little ribbon attached to the end. They're paper snips, of course. And there you go. Let's see if I can just pull the ends. There we go. And there is the mini hand sanitizer box using the Flowers for All Seasons Designer Series paper stack and the 4 Seasons floral stamp set. Your gift today, we have not finished yet. My one embellishment I'm going to add are the gold metallic pearls. This is going to be your gift of the day. Thank you, Sandy. Sandy says, so cute. I'm going to add a little bit of sparkle to the center of my poinsettia. Whoops, one just fell off as I was opening the package. Not going to waste it. I'm going to put it right on there. And I'm going to add a couple more. So with your qualifying gift today, you will receive the metallic pearls if you place your order before tomorrow at 7. So tomorrow I'm not coming on at noon. I'm going to make it date night, Saturday night at 7. I'll have a new project for you on the 12 days of Christmas a little bit later tomorrow. So, you know, I like to go in threes. So I'm going to add one more. And if you squeeze right underneath with the paper snips, they're easier to handle. There we go, right there. There is the mini hand sanitizer gift box, the perfect little gift, hostess gift. You know what, you could also put these at place settings if you're going to be having your 6 people for Christmas dinner. Each person can have their hand sanitizer right at their place setting. Yay, Monica likes it. I get the happy signal from her. So this project today was based on Monica's gift box. I think she used the Poinsettia Place die cuts instead of the Poinsettia stamp. So I'm thanking my partner for sharing all these wonderful projects. I'm thanking you for joining me every day. Yes, Andy says, now to find the sanitizers. I'm kind of lucky. I get to shop at the Base Exchange, and every time I go in, the first place I check is the counters for the mini hand sanitizers, and I'm usually pretty lucky. Thank you, Barb says, cute project. Thanks for joining me.